What's up, everybody? That's another episode of Broken Bread Conversations. You know, it's Seiko.
I'm Josh.
Josh, another episode. This should be episode 22, I believe.
All right.
And I don't know if you noticed, but I do have a new mic. So we're slowly upgrading. This is a Blue Yeti mic. It was recommended by a coworker of mine, and it's actually a pretty nice mic. I like it a lot. Yeah. But anyway, it's another week. Another week of some bullshit. I'm not saying anything you're saying is bullshit. I'm just saying, shit happens in life.
For sure.
Yeah. Happy to see everybody here again. That also kind of reminded me of one of the laws of the universe, which is called the law of consistency or something like that.
Okay.
Kind of get into that real quick.
Yeah.
So there's like this whole concept of like the 7 laws of the universe. I forgot all 7, but I know that one of them is like the law of consistency or something like that, right. or the law of change.
Well, all right.
Meaning that if you look at life in the macro sense, just if we zoom out and not just look at life in these last 10 years, if you look at the life last 100 years, couple hundred years, you see that a lot of things kind of move in cycles, Like, for example, you can look at fashion. It moves in cycles. 2000s, fashion was really baggy, a lot of, like, really big, wide clothes, right? And then you fast forward to, like, the 2010s, fashion changed from that baggy aesthetic to very skinny jeggings, leggings, all that type of stuff, right? And now if you look at fashion now, it seems like we're cycling back. Yeah, everything's like more baggy, wide cut pants and all that, It's very interesting.
And before that, when were they doing that stuff as well?
We're doing what?
These 90s and 2000s for sure. That's when they had some baggy stuff. But well, before that, 80s and then more tight jeans.
Yeah.
And then before that, 70s, we got kind of more wider pants, a little different because they have spin off from the 60s. All those little what they're like bell bottom type things. All the wide angle boots.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
there you go.
That just shifts.
So that's the cycle of fashion, right?
Going back,
and you can look at music as well, because I know you're not paying attention to the music, but right now music is going through its rock star phase again.
So this is the rock star phase.
Exactly.
Right now.
All the rap right now, it's all rock music. It's just rock rap. Because one of the biggest rappers right now is Playboi Carti. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if you heard of him. Playboi Carti's huge. And his most recent album, Whole Lotta Red, is just fucking rock music. I got play it to you after this, but it's like some mosh pit type music.
Oh shit.
So it's interesting how things kind of move in cycles. How we had Nirvana, the whole grunge music and that, and the rap became big. And now it seems like rap's going through its own cycle of going through a rap phase.
Young compared to look at how old other genres are. They're still, I guess, in the way evolving and finding their own and growing into these new offsprings. Because even with Witch House, there's now a lot of R&B and hip hop artists that are attaching themselves to these Witch House artists. I don't know if you've been seeing that.
Nah, I don't really pay attention to the Witch House besides Cat.
I just been seeing a lot more stuff. It's just odd to me. All these kind of darker beats are getting a lot more. I don't know. I guess an understanding or a shift is gravitating toward that type of sound, which is cool. I mean, I like the dark music.
That's really interesting. Well, I'm looking forward to whatever comes out.
100%.
But again, those are 2 cycles right there, right? And that's pretty much everything in life. It's just constant cycles and cycles and cycles, right? You can even look at something
ever in circles, man. I always talk about that shit.
Exactly.
There's big ripples and small ripples.
And you can look at something that we see every day, the sun. We know at the end of the day, the sun's going to set, and tomorrow the sun's going to rise, right? So the law of change just shows that there's always going to be change happening no matter what, right? And the only thing that's consistent is the fact that there's always change. That's true. So as the days go by, that at the start of your day, the sun's going to go up, and at the end of the day, the sun's going to go down. But between that, there's a whole bunch of shit that can happen in your life, So it's just kind of to make you feel better in the fact that you could have a shitty-ass day, but tomorrow's a new start because the sun's going to come up again.
What's funny is you see all that stuff, my brain just goes to places like Alaska and Iceland where the sun doesn't always go down or go up. I'm like, what about them?
Well, then their constant is that the sun's never there or whatever the fuck whatever it is,
I know. I was like, I was always trying to find the devil's advocate of shit.
No, I do the same thing. I do the same thing.
No, you're right. it is a new day, is like, which is a more proof that we need to be like water. No rigidness, no closed-mindedness, just always open for like change, because everything changes. You know, obviously it's a big circle of repeating patterns for sure, but the world moves, and look how fast it's changed. Just a couple hundred years ago, look at what America was. You know, it blows my mind of where we are now.
A lot of racism.
I mean, that's always been there, but it's just been like how fast we come from just like technology wise. It's just weird seeing like where the world was just a few hundred years ago to what it is now. It's fucking crazy. I think about that stuff all the time. Like, what's it gonna be like in just 30 years from now? We're growing so fast.
Well, I like to pay attention to like how the world's changing, and a lot of like big people, for example, like Mark Cuban, those type of people that pay attention to like markets and shit. They're saying that we're going through a change of everything's digitizing. You know, like a lot of work now is work from home, just over the internet. You know, if you can look at artwork, like they have the whole AI art now. That's the whole. We don't like.
Because there's AI that write articles. There's shit all the time.
Yeah, like Chat GPT. That's gonna be the next one too. The fact that now we don't have people writing shit. We can use Chat GPT potentially to write whole scripts or articles. You know. It's
pretty accurate, but it also talks about weird shit. But for the most part, someone I'm like, wow. I mean, it's not going to be the same as, you know, a human putting their stuff in it. But for the early stages, that's pretty crazy that right now people are getting lazy and these bots are just taking care of all this stuff.
I know.
I just feel like eventually the bots are like, why are we doing everything? You know, they're going to eventually think, why are we doing this? Then Skynet, I don't know if we have Skynet alerts on everything. This shit's going to start fucking going off.
I just hope whoever's in charge is able to prevent that.
Dude, it's a lot, man.
Not let them become conscious. You know, not too advanced. Just like we're only gonna push upgrades to.
No, I just wish more people would talk about it because it scares me a little bit.
Well, that's what we're doing then. You know,
exactly. Oh yeah.
Because there's this whole concept about when it comes to artists, you should create what you wish already existed.
Oh, that's true.
And you know, you wish that there was more conversation about AI, technology, all this. Well, we're gonna create it right here.
There you go.
Because I always like watching DMT videos, for example. I wish there was more, so that's why I like making DMT videos.
All right.
That's the shit.
I'm down to always make another one.
Yeah, but what's your thoughts about what you just talking about?
AI shit?
Yeah. You said you wish people talked about it more?
Well, I just wish people talked about it more just because, man, this shit, it does scare me just because we do advance pretty quick. It just has, from what I've seen in my life, I'm still playing catch up. I feel like right now, I don't spend enough time on the internet to pay attention. Things happen and go so quick. Like before you know it, things are changed. I was just talking to Zico about Childish Gambino. So I don't really spend that much time on the internet. I try to like isolate myself, especially when I was younger, back when Donald Glover was on Community. That's kind of when I was in that phase of when he was going through all the stuff, and that's when I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna start doing my own shit. And I just kind of focused on inward stuff and what I could control in my life. And then maybe like 2018, I started trying to pay attention to all the stuff going on, and the Childish Gambino is Donald Glover. I'm like, wait, who the fuck is this? Like, what is this, America? I watched the video. I'm like, damn. I was like, when did he become a rap artist? I was like, wait a second.
So what year did you leave off knowing him, and then what year did you rediscover him?
It was like probably
what was the gap?
It was probably 2012.
Okay.
And I didn't really pay much attention already on social media. I didn't start texting until 2016.
That's crazy,
Do you
man.
know?
4 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's like, and I didn't really text much before that. Like even when phones came out.
But yeah, Donald Glover 2012, and then you found out
2020 around that time. That's when I went to Corpus Christi when I left my job and moved down to South Texas.
Yeah,
and then I just hung out with my family and played music, and that was about my only focus. And then it still blows my mind. I'm just now discovering Childish Gambino. So I've been listening to his stuff.
So it was 2012, and then when did you discover him again? I just want to.
I'm trying to think. Like I rediscovered him probably like around 2019.
So that was a 7-year gap. Then.
Yeah, at least because I started like I was just let's see what I forgot about Community, and it was on TV.
Yeah,
and then I started looking on YouTube, and I was like, what is it? I thought he's doing like parody stuff. Like it's Donald Glover. He's usually
comedian,
pretty funny. Comedian.
Dude. Yeah.
But then I started listening. I was like, oh shit, he's talking about serious stuff. I was like, whoa, what the fuck? And I started listening to the music. I'm like, wait, whoa. And I just been on like a little off and on journey trying to understand him. But I didn't really start listening to his music till a couple days ago.
Damn.
Like sat down. I just downloaded his like all the albums, and I just started
you heard Redbone.
No.
Oh man,
I haven't heard
that's
that
my
yet.
favorite song by
All
him.
right, Redbone. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
I'm gonna add that to
I
my
think that's the
list.
name of the song. I could be wrong.
Okay.
I think that's the name of the song.
Well, I have all of his albums
Yeah.
right now on Apple Music. I've just been going through them, listening to them, but yeah, it just blows my mind.
Mhm.
Like the fact, and it's just how fast things can change because I just do him as just this dude
Yeah.
that was on the comedian, and
Yeah.
I thought like, oh, he's trying to do stand up now, and that was the last time I remember about him. He was
Yeah,
trying to do
yeah.
stand up, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh. I didn't really think much about it. I didn't really think it was that funny, but I didn't really pay much attention to it.
Yeah.
But damn, but it just shows me like, don't stop. If he stayed stagnant, he would just be on Community. Then no one would know who he is right now. He would just be, oh, that's that one dude, that comedian guy.
Yeah.
Because he was living Gucci. He was writing also on like 30 Rock. He was a writer on that show. But that just proves like, man, gosh, damn, if you just, obviously he's a special breed of human for sure. But I think pursuing and chasing after your shit, that's proof right there.
Well, I
what
think
you can
anybody
achieve.
can do that.
Anybody can.
Because you say he's special, right?
Well,
I don't think he's special because
I would say you have to get to a healed state.
Mhm.
I think to achieve what he had to able to achieve, you need to master yourself. I feel like he mastered who he is. You will never achieve anything like that unless you master. I have not mastered anything on myself. I'm still slowly fucking discovering things.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you accept and know who the fuck you are in and out, easy.
Yeah.
You can move through life. I already moved through life in my own rhythm.
Yeah.
You've seen people at work
Yeah.
react sometimes.
No,
I hardly ever talk to that dude.
Yeah.
And but that's always happened to me.
I just want to say that I don't
Yeah.
think he's special. I don't think anyone's special.
Okay.
I just think if you work hard enough, like you said, that's part of working on yourself. If you
Anything,
just work on
100%.
yourself, you can do it.
He just had
Because
that-
people that are not creative, they constantly switch jobs all the fucking time.
They do.
They are constantly changing. You know, you don't got to be a creative person to change your
No.
direction in life. And same thing with him. He just on the creative path. So if you looked at us, for example, me, I worked at a restaurant, for example, and then now I work at this print shop. That's my career change. You know. His is the same thing. It just so happens to be on a global scale, and he
Well-
went from a show to become a musician.
But not only that, I think he knew from the beginning what he wanted, and he saw the means of how to get it. He couldn't just get it from the beginning. I want to do this, but he wanted to do a lot of different things, and he did it. And then he got to the point like, I wasn't enjoying as much more. He moved on. He didn't just stay till it burned him out. He just got to the point like, I'm ready to move on. He felt the pull that I try to listen to, that intuitive pull, and it feels like this from the videos and stuff I've watched. He's been listening to that his whole life.
Really? What makes you say that?
Just because he was admitting he starts calling himself the child of Kanye, like that's a bold statement. That's before he even was out as a rap artist or anything.
Wait,
He's
why did he say that?
because he just felt like he was gonna change the game, everything. He felt he was saying this stuff like way before he even came out as a Childish Gambino or anything like that.
Yeah.
He was like saying I'm a child of Kanye, and he was just saying like, and he says hopefully nowadays he's saying hopefully there will be eventually a child of Gambino, you know, so that they'll come out and that person. All doors will be open because he said he wouldn't have been able to be him if it wasn't for Kanye West because he opened the doors and he's able to go further in his mind than Kanye's gone because those doors are already open.
Yeah.
And now he's like, if anybody else is gonna try to come up and outdo me, these doors are open, man. They're ready. Keep going. And I was like, he was saying shit like that. I'm like, God damn, like that's that stuff you have to listen to, that pull, and you just don't stop because like fear will get in your way and your head creep in. I feel like that's a part of it. I really wish I was there for all those moments when he was blowing up. It made me a little sad, but
But that's interesting. The point that you brought up about how you feel like he always knew since the beginning, how he claimed he was a child of Kanye before he even started music, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting because Kanye was the same way.
Yeah.
Before Kanye even had his first album out, he was already so confident and believed in himself so much. So I think some people just know.
Well, not only that, it's about knowing who you are. It's not just like just knowing, like, how they just know. No, they knew because they know they got to a point. I'm like, they were like, who the fuck am I? Wait a second. Like they started looking like, why am I doing all these different things that we do in life? Like, wait, taking a pause back and looking at who the fuck they are, and they're like, what do I want? Okay, how do I achieve this? And that's it. They just looked at do I want to be in the situation? Oh, if I say yes, then okay, this is where I'm at. I want to be here. I'm here. You even said where we are right now in life is because of the choices that we made. So if you want to be somewhere else, choose that.
I think about that too.
Yeah.
Like every day, I kind of like always think about what did I do today to progress, you know? and I that's why I like doing clips because every day I'm slowly progressing the channel, you know? Because like going back to the choices, your result of your life right now is a choice of is a result of every choice you ever made. 100% true. So that's why I'm conscious of the choices I'm doing. I'm fucking making clips every day because that's the choice I want to make to get better.
Yeah, I'll always say the same thing again. always conscious and always fucking constant.
Yeah, you can't be on you can't be on autopilot.
No, and it's hard. I will say there is a time and place. It's okay to, go through a slump and just chill, because sometimes depression will get you, and you just need to fucking take a break from shit. Sometimes you'll get burned out and you just gotta take a pause. That's why our fucking company, we got so many days off, but I'm like, sometimes I wish we had more, I wish we could fucking take a few months off and just go, and just so we can unwind. It's like, our job should not define us. It sucks that it doesn't, and at least in America, that's how it looks at. That's our job. Well, that's who you are. I'm like, that's not who the fuck I am. Just what I do to make some bread for now, but I really feel like if people just keep pushing, and you have just, even if you ain't small, if it's hard, just get up out of bed, fucking just write your thoughts down just for a couple minutes. Just write some stuff down, and then eventually you'll start doing other stuff. Write some, who knows what. Just doing one small thing at a time, and that's it. And then eventually those small things become bigger things, and then before you know it, you're literally fucking moving mountains. That's how I look at shit.
I mean, there's an example of the bamboo tree, right?
Yeah.
There's it was an example they used in the 7 Laws of the Universe video, actually. So I'm gonna steal that example. But basically, a bamboo tree, you plant it, and then like a year passes by, it's still like the same size. 2 years passes by, it's still the same size, right? But after like 3 years or whatever, it just fucking exponentially just grows super big, just super tall, right? Out of nowhere, right? And you can look at it as, oh, just overnight, it just grew hella fast. Overnight success, as people call it, right? But really, what's happening is that these 3 years that you're looking at it and you're seeing the shoot not growing, that is true, but it's because there's something else working in the background that you're not seeing, which is the roots. The roots of the bamboo tree are growing these past 3 years, just spreading, getting deeper and deeper and deeper, until the point where they got a good amount of fucking roots everywhere, getting a lot of water and shit, and then bam, that's how it works. And that applies to anything you want to do. Like, if you want to work out and you become buff, if you work out every day, you're not going to see it, after a month, after 2 months, but then over time, you're going to start fucking bulking up, because your body's going to realize, oh shit, he's putting in the work every day. Let me adjust my body to fit this workout routine, and that works.
Their bodies are adaptable.
I know it is.
We're made to be like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's like the human beings for sure.
Yeah.
But no, everything you just said, I feel like that's what with the Kanye West type and the Donald Glover type of humans that exist, that have existed in our worlds, they have that drive and push, and that's in all of us. I 100% believe that. Just anybody can play music, anybody can draw, anybody can do whatever they want. I mean, some people, obviously, if you're born without certain limbs, it's gonna be harder for you. But I feel like our world will eventually be there where I know there's things that we can do even now, that we have technology that we're getting advanced where we'll have like robotic limbs, which freaks me out. Anyway, side note. But if you're a human and you're born with all just all of our normal working parts, you can achieve anything. It's crazy. And even people that don't, I've seen, there's like that Olympic dude that has no legs, killing people later on, but you know what I mean?
I don't.
You don't? Oh,
I never heard of him.
Guy, he didn't have any legs, and he won a whole bunch of different wars, and I don't know if he got like first place or not. But yeah, he was like running around, he's like had those like metal legs, and people would say he's like cheating at one point.
Okay.
But it's not cheating because there's still just like rods on your leg.
I'm more curious about the murder.
Yeah, like it was like his girlfriend, the model girlfriend, and I don't really. It was a long time ago, the story. But yeah, he ended up shooting her, and he was trying to claim that it was like an accident. But it was a little weird. Like, a lot of things were like suspicious. He's in jail now. Obviously, it was for murder.
Oh, so he was found guilty. God damn.
Yeah. So I was like, but
from Olympic to murderer.
Yeah. It was like this big hero because it was like, wow, because he was like proving like I ain't disabled. Look what I can fucking do. You know, that's crazy. But then you can also
damn,
murder
man,
too.
you can be at the top of the world, and one bad decision ruins it. All your hard work for nothing.
And that's what I mean. Like, it does boil down to a choice. I've had choices like that where I could have fucked my shit up.
Yeah.
But being aware and outside of yourself, so you can see these actions that are going on before you make them, because that's where I think we should, at least in certain moments anyway, not all the time, because that'd be fucking crazy, it'd be maddening. But if you can learn how to, especially when a moment comes up, arguments are a very good one, or emotional situation where you can be outside of yourself and like just really look at the situation going on, and then I feel like that's how you can learn how to handle things and just be able to just float through it and get through it, versus just reacting. And that's that subconscious thing that we tend to be in, because we're just, it's hard, you know.
Yeah.
Life can fucking trip you off.
I mean, it's hard to not make a decision based on emotion. You know what I mean? Because like sometimes you come to these moments where you're so emotional, either from anger from something happening, or you're hella sad and you don't give a fuck no more, and then you make a horrible decision that ruins your life.
Yeah,
it's hard. You got advice how to stay calm during moments like that?
Well, it takes practice, just like anything. It's not gonna happen overnight. I still struggle with it, but there's things that work for everybody. I say learning an instrument, playing music, that helped me tremendously. It mostly just helps learn how to be still with yourself, be still in moments. So when you start feeling these feelings of anger, sadness, or whatever, you can put it into something and turn it into something positive, just to get it out. You can record it or not, it's gone. Now if you're feeling a feeling, you just list it. It's out there now in the universe, just sound waves or whatever. But same thing, drawing. If you just want to try to do that, it's something to help you just be settled, you know, where you can at least be still with yourself. Yoga's a very good thing too. If you have emotions, get that out. Even doing like Tai Chi stuff, just breathing exercises, just so you can push this stuff out. It's an energy. If you look at things like all energy, even like someone yelling, someone being happy, it's an energy. It's just an exchange. And especially if you're feeling some anger inside of you, don't hold that in. It's got to come out. It's just gonna sit and fester. So you gotta figure out how to you just need to think about the stuff and push it out in some way, in some form. It's like a ricochet. You can't just let that shit get deep inside, because that's when problems start happening, you know?
What about how do you stay calm when you're in the moment?
So in the moment,
what if you get in an argument with somebody?
That's what I mean. If you have,
because you can't just draw.
No. But that's what I meant. Those things help.
Yeah.
That's what those are the practice things I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Doing those things in those moments will help you learn how to when these things come up, when they start getting angry. Like, you already have some practice to help you deal with a lot of it. Because if you don't have an outlet, you're gonna fucking struggle no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Having an outlet is key. And then after that, learning to just in those moments to take a step back. That's where you have to learn to separate yourself. And that would be just breathing. When you start feeling even small moments of anger, taking a step back before it gets anywhere. Even if you're driving, pull over. Someone pissed you off, pull over. Take a deep breath to get back on the road later, you know, instead of just letting it escalate. So if you already feel it coming on, but again, if you're not paying attention to yourself and you can't feel it coming on, then it's just gonna take control of you. And that's like learning that control. It's like as soon as you feel it creep on, you go, oh wait, I gotta go outside, I'm sorry. So like, whoa, we're in the middle, hey, I'm sorry, I gotta go outside.
Okay.
You know, it's
I like that.
until you get to a point where you can calmly discuss something and be rational, which is hard. I still struggle with that. Like, I struggle like fucking crazy trying to get that shit done.
Mm.
But I've learned just to have more control over my anger. Like, and even just in moments where I had a thing at work. Obviously, it didn't work out, but
that's where I was getting to. I'm like, you have these tools, but I'm like, how do you do it in the moment? Cause and that was a example of in the moment.
Yeah. So there was one where I didn't, where that one dude just kind of like, he was abruptly kind of yelling at me, and I did react, and it was like the end of the day. So there was a difference.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, that'll be a story.
So I had a coworker that was, I guess, getting upset with me throughout the night. Let me take a drink of water real quick. Hold on.
Okay, yeah. To give some context, me and Josh work at the same job. That's how we met each other. And then he had an altercation, I guess you could say, at work.
So I worked the night shift, and this was about around the end of the night where we're cleaning everything up, getting everything done, getting our work areas all tidy and stuff. Well, we have these little things that we can walk around or walk over. It's like usually they're in the way. It's like the coasters, you know. It's like I'll just try to explain it for.
So basically, do you want me to summarize it and then you can jump in?
I'm
okay,
not sure what to even say for people to understand.
From what I understand, happened was there was a pallet of product that we have at our job, and Josh stood on that product. That's pretty much what happened.
So pretty much, and I have ADHD, and we have this product that, once it gets down to a certain height, you know, you can just hop over it or walk around it. And I was like, you know what? I dropped some stuff. I was like, I'm just going to walk on the side. And I was walking over them, stepping onto the product to get to this things I dropped. And I was doing that a couple times back and forth. And I guess throughout the night, it happened maybe like 6 times. It was eating away at this person. So the coworker ended up going up to me, and he was like kind of yelling at me if I respected the company. And I was like, after like the 3rd or 4th one, I was like, no, I don't respect this company. They don't respect me. I was all yelling that back, but then we started yelling that at each other. I was like, no, because when he started talking, I was like, I don't fucking respect this company. Fuck that. I was like, no, I don't respect this company. And then he started yelling at me and back and forth, and then I tend to make things worse if I feel like I'm getting attacked for no reason. So I'll tend to want to pour gasoline on a fire. And I was catching myself doing that, and I left. I was so angry.
Did you?
I did, but I was in those moments I didn't want to, and I was like I also suffer from other things, but like I'm sure I have a little bit of multiple different mental problems, but I do have some sociopathic problems where I can have a rage. Like they call it like a sociopathic rage. That creeped on, and I haven't had that feeling in a bit. So when that started coming up, I was like, all right, it was already 1:30, so we're leaving. So I was like, I'm already getting the fuck out of here. And I'm like, that was when I'm arguing. I was like, why the fuck are you so mad? It's 1:30 in the morning. We're getting the fuck home. I didn't understand it. And then I was just like, I was so hot, but I was like, we're already leaving. So
you walked away?
I was able to walk away.
Oh, okay, okay.
But I wish I didn't even get mad. That's why I should have stopped it. Where as soon as I was getting there, because it's just when you already have headphones on, they just kind of like abruptly disrupt your calm. I struggle with that, trying not to escalate it, because I'll match someone's intensity for sure, and that's not a good thing. I'm trying to work on. But the other instance also happened at work with a lookover. He was getting upset, with.
Were you?
Remember, what's my call when we were in the room? I was talking to you and that.
Oh yeah.
Just like stuff like that will happen. Having talked to this dude.
Yeah, to give context, me and Josh were just talking, and then this other coworker nearby us just was really rude and like told Josh to like go away, pretty much.
Basically, yeah. And I maybe interacted with him like twice. I talked to him a couple times. Just was like, hey, like I'm leaving. Blah blah. This is going on. That was about my interactions. I'm sure the same with you. Not really much. Conversation wise, but I know I tend, and this discussion I was trying to figure out why this happens, and this stuff tends to happen to me because I tend to go at my own rhythm, and I really feel like it may push people off, and I was trying to figure out why I tend to follow my own little flow, and I started thinking like it's like a morale code. I like have this idea of like my own, because I do stuff at work. I have my own code that I go, and even if it's like not a policy at work, I'll still like, well, it still works within my code. Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense.
You have your own way of doing things.
Own way of doing things, but it's like governs like even laws in the world. Like I have my own set that if it fits that, it works. Yeah. And I tend to flow through the world like that. And a lot of people can be put off just because like it's like a confidence thing. I don't know. I started researching things. I think it's like a more autism type thing because I started thinking like why this happens. And the only people I've ever known to really move at their own pace is people that are more eccentric or that have more of like a autistic, I think, understanding of this world, because it's just things are simple to them how they look at it, and that's how I look at it. This is why would I want to do all this other stuff? This is how I can do this. Like it doesn't make sense why all these other things, all these steps have to be completed when I'm like I already know these are the steps that are needed. Yeah. And I'll just tend to follow that. And I know a lot of people from my interactive, people don't tend to like it. People tend to get rubbed the wrong way just because how I'll interact. I'll be, I talk a lot. Obviously, on here, I'm a talker, and people think it's like intentional because I'm trying to do shit, and sometimes it's not. I'm just, I have problems communicating just because I'm talkative, man. I have energy, and people get angry at it. But working at that, trying to figure out how to calm that shit down is like that instant I didn't get upset at all. Didn't bother me. And that could be because it was the beginning of the shift, and I'm I understand that can be much for people, and I know people. I already know that level that people react like that. So it's kind of weird that I'm used to that stuff, but
no, that was just straight up rude.
It was, and I agree, and I get confused by it, and it makes me. And the reason I say that, so the reason I bring it up, my wife used to work at her job too, and there's another coworker that she would talk about, and she would get mad. I'm like, babe, sounds like she might be like have a little autism. Because it seems like the way she was doing things, like that's how I would do it. Really? Could you describe? So I'm interested to hear, because
to give some context, me and Josh at our job, there's like an office area. And there's like a production type area. Me and him are in the production type area. So for me, it's always interesting to hear what's going down in the office area because I'm not in that world.
So the office area, it's pretty different. It's weird because we're the same company, but it's such a dynamic. Oh, sorry. Yeah. It's such a dynamic, polar opposites almost. But
you can put it up if you want to. Too. Oh, yeah. You can always adjust it. Yeah.
Basically, it's just more.
If it's too low.
Basically, it's just like she has a way of arguing when it's like you shouldn't be arguing. Like
you're talking about the worker?
Yeah, the worker. Okay. So like when there's like a boss talking about something, she will argue with like Aaron, the CEO. Sorry, I shouldn't put his name, but the CEO, and she'll mention like something to like the boss or that she has. She'll argue about it.
Very argumentative.
Well, it's not even just argumentative, but she won't understand like it doesn't matter like if it like, so it's like she'll like if the company says it has to be this way, she doesn't know how to do it differently besides how the company has it. This is how the rules were. They're like,
is there an example?
So
or could you make up an example, like that's the cup?
Basically, if this was the cup, like all the cups have to be facing this way, where they're going to face out this way, and it has to be exactly like this at this certain angle.
Yeah.
To her, if someone's like, oh, I just do it like that. It's like, no, it has to be pushed down just like this, and then twisted, and then look that way. It's like, but it's the same if you just do that. She's like, it has to follow these rules to the T, otherwise it's not ever going to be right. And like that's a rigidness that I was talking about, where some people can be closed-minded, and only people I've ever interacted that will have these weird set codes. There was people that ADHD people that I know that we do touch different spectrums of stuff, which is unfortunate. But I feel like, remember this guy was talking about how ADHD people, when she does ADHD,
the worker you're talking about?
The coworker I'm talking about, she has ADHD. She takes medication for it. Which that told me like she just seems similar to me because she was aphasia. She would not understand when someone tried to describe something. And the way she would also try to.
So what is the point of this analogy?
Oh, sorry. I do. This is also ADHD, by the way.
Okay, you're going from here to here.
A lot of different directions. I'm trying to think of these. There's lots of details.
And you're trying to.
I'm trying to figure out how to put them all together.
I'm trying to put them together too, man.
So this is where the edit comes in. You know.
I know. That's where I come in.
Yeah. So basically, because she has ADHD, and I started understanding aphasia because she was doing things that were just off. Like I'm trying to think of the things that were off, were just like normal routine things of just like how we would go through regular things in life. It was odd for her how she interacted. I don't know how to explain that.
Because with the cup thing, I didn't really understand the example.
So
does she have trouble doing it exactly how? Does she have trouble doing it how other people want it, and she wants to do it her own way? Because the results are still the same regardless.
So I'm gonna have to edit this before. Let me take my so I'm gonna check it off. Hold on, real quick.
Yeah. Josh is currently taking off his jacket and he's adjusting the temperature. Are you getting hot? Is that why?
Hot, and then also I'm thirsty as fuck.
And he's thirsty, so I'm gonna just take over right now. That's a nice logo right there, if you like that. Yeah, it's very nice. Our Instagram right there is on the whiteboard. Check it out. TikTok right there too. Check it out. Yeah, we're growing. Support us, please.
All right. So, I wish I brought Ashley in here, but
I'd be down to do it one with her.
Well, this girl, she basically on the notes on the computer, they do a lot of computer research and trying to find like build profiles, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you have to follow a certain guideline, and there's no outside of it. Like she wants to follow to a T. You have to email this. You have to do this. Like these, you have to do all the steps exactly how they were. You can't start at step 10 and work your way down. She has to always be one. But sometimes you don't need all the steps to do the job. Sometimes it's just like if someone just needs one thing, you just go like do this step.
So she follows it by the book.
It has to always be by the book.
Okay.
She doesn't know another way to do it.
So it's like, for example, that cup. Can I grab it real quick? So that cup, right? How you said the company wants you to place it down and turn it 90-degree angles, for example, right?
Yeah.
And for her, she always has to put it down, put 90 degrees angle, even though there could probably be an easier way, which is just to go with that, skip a step.
Yeah.
But she has to do that every single step.
It's like the cup's just an example, but it's like it's just something like that where she's not movable in it. And I feel like the only people I've ever interacted with in my life were autistic people that were that unmovable on certain things that like it just doesn't make sense. And that's where I was talking about flowing at your own rhythm. It's like that's how she flows through life. And I was trying to figure out that sounds like she has autism. It's like I don't know anything else that is like that besides people I've interacted with and me, because they even asked me if we are arguments, because I argue with her. Because another point is when they argue points, she always is. She's not missing. Like sometimes people try to make a joke, but she's hearing it as a logical thing. And she tries to give a logical answer to explain.
That is definitely an autism thing. Not being able to understand jokes.
And I struggle with that. I used to joke that I'm German. Like, I'm just German. Because I
what does that mean?
Because Germans don't have a sense of humor that people joke about.
Hey man, I wouldn't say that.
I know people. It's it's a dumb joke that
Yeah,
people
yeah,
make fun of. It's
yeah.
not a real
He doesn't
thing.
believe that.
No, I don't
for anybody
believe that.
wondering.
There's that Fuga, whatever his name is. He's one of the funniest people I've ever seen. He's
Uh-huh,
German. But it's just like that thing that they used to joke me saying that because I will miss sarcasm and a lot of I guess old things of German people where they just were too serious to understand jokes is where it comes from. But I will often miss sarcasm, especially if it's something like that. I will just take people. If you say it, I will take it literally what you're saying to me.
Or maybe just in general, you kind of miss social cues,
I
and
do.
sarcasm could be considered a social cue that you like. It's not someone telling you directly. It's like you gotta like kind of pick it up. So you're just not good at picking up things.
It is.
Yeah.
So here's another thing. So like when we talk, sometimes I might bring something up to relate to it somehow, and it often comes like I'm trying to interrupt you to take over the story. Not my intent. It's a lot of autistic people. They tend to bring up things that are similar, so that hey look, I relate to you. Look at this thing. So see how we can relate.
I don't think anything's wrong with that necessarily, but it's the fact that you'll go on for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So what you got to do is say your thing real quick and then go on, Because, for example, right now, how I'm bringing up my thing, I'm going to let you have the rest now. Go.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And that's where learning how to
Jump in and out.
Yeah, and learn how to do all that stuff is just freaking hard. But so with her doing that, she has different things. She likes to argue all these different things. And when Ashley was getting frustrated, she's like, how is she not understanding? I was like, Ashley, she might be autistic. That makes sense. And they make her like, oh my god. And then she ended up going to her. It's like, hey, I'm sorry if I was like, getting frustrated, getting mad. And she was like, thanks. Like no one ever explains why they get frustrated. I don't know why they're getting so upset.
Oh, that's very sweet.
I'm like, and that's what sucks because how is she ever gonna grow if she's not knowing she's doing anything wrong? Like people go to me like even when that one dude was angry, I understand probably why because I'm doing something that obviously set him off that made him get pricked. Whatever my personality did.
I think he's just racist. For real. If we're being honest. But yeah, sorry, we're not gonna get into that.
Yeah.
It's a long story. A lot of context. He's not a bad guy. Shit happens.
But I just feel like that happens to a lot of even arguments that I've had with my wife, and it's her understanding is like, we're arguing because I'm understanding it differently because the way I communicate is so different than how it's like she'll do normal social things and like they don't work on me because she'll try to have like a fun thing she might do with a coworker and try to I guess like have a fun conversation with me, but I won't.
Yeah, you don't get it. Yeah.
Like, she's like, why do you have to always? I'm like, I'm just trying to conversate.
Well, I think it's awesome the fact that first of all, your wife apologized to that woman and explained to her, and then that woman, I would definitely believe that she like kind of figured something out with that. But that's why I like doing podcasts because you go through experiences like that, right? And maybe you talking about it, someone could watch this and realize, I might have the same thing he does, and that might change their whole life, and they might becoming more aware of things,
Well, that's just something I was trying to figure out, like, because I was trying to understand like codes, like and moral understandings, and the gray area that is, and I don't know if normal people have things like that. I won't say normal people, but if other people have their own code, do you have anything like that you go by, like your own internal guideline?
I just kind of believe just be a good person. I have my own rules, just be a good person, do the right thing, be honest, genuine. That's my own little code, I guess.
But it's like, I guess the one I was trying to say was
okay.
I guess the way like because I feel like you do your own thing a little bit because you don't always fall into social norms, which would be like you go to your car often and chill and hang out by yourself.
Okay.
Like that's a good example of not falling into that social norm.
Yeah.
It is odd, and people tend to interact. You'll stand out.
It is odd, and I could see maybe people might think that's a little weird, but the thing is, I also explain myself. If anybody were to ask me, I'd be like, I just want to spend lunch in my car. I don't really feel like talking to people, So I think that's a lot of the problem is that people that suffer from what you suffer, they're not aware of it. That's the first step. Yeah. And once they are aware of it, they don't explain it. Because you got to explain how you think. Because people are going to look at you from their mindset of like a normal person. Like, why is the guy doing this not the normal way? But you have to explain, no, my mind works this way. Because I remember when I first trained you at the job, actually, and we were taking out these postcards from the machine. You have to stack the postcards in a certain way to keep them in order, right? So I would put them on top and grab the next one and put it on top, right? But for you communicated differently, and you instead of putting it on top, you put it on the bottom, and that was a confusion between us.
Yeah.
Until you explained to me that when you grab it from the bottom.
Yeah.
So that's an example of
It's
how,
weird. Yeah.
you know, I'm thinking of you from the mindset of how I operate, but after you explain to me, now I understand, you know. And I think that happens a lot. There's a lot of misunderstanding.
I think it is, and even when I remember when we had to have that meeting after we had that altercation at work with one of the coworkers. I had to talk to one of our higher ups, and I was like, I had to explain what I mean by like I don't respect the company, and stuff like that, and it is different on all these different things. Like my version of respect, I was like these little moral codes and all these different things. I was trying to explain like I go above and beyond, and versus if I don't respect you, you're just gonna get whatever y'all want from me. Like I'm just gonna do my job and go home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do more. And I feel like that was the separation. That was the communication of how different they are, like what their view is. Because we all have understanding of what we think respect is. If I respect a person, I will do everything I can to help that person out, achieve whatever. I'll drop a lot of my stuff to help them. That's how I view respect. If I respect that person. But if you're just a regular person that I don't respect, it's like you're nothing. You're the same thing as everyone else. It's I won't do much unless it's something I can help out. If it's something that won't hurt against my day, of course I'll try to help someone out if they need it. But unless it's like someone I truly respect, I will drop my shit and like, all right, what do you want to do? Like that's kind of how I am. And I was trying to think of how people communicate. We have so many people have a different understanding of so many things, and like. And that's where I started thinking, like, is there a way we can fix this in our education? Like,
honestly, I think the internet helps a lot with all this. Because now we have everybody's opinions, everybody's thoughts. And now we realize, oh, shit, there's a whole group of people that think this way, you know? Yeah. So like, especially with...
Well, it's a problem in work environments, school environments.
Yeah.
Because, like, I struggle with school because it's hard for me because ADHD, in general, especially growing up, most teachers didn't believe I had ADHD. They thought it was made up. They didn't think it was a real thing existed. I had trouble staying in my chair, and I'd fall out just because I'd be looking at stuff and too much things, and I'd get kicked out of class just because of normal things that it's just me trying to pay attention to my hardest, and it caused me kicked out, and plus I talk a lot. But it's just like those social norms, like the only way I know how to fix, like I said, internet. And if we start changing our situation, these work environments, they're not allowed to set up for everyone to work in. I know we have to have jobs, but most of these environments, they're not really sustained like that.
I really hope we're heading into a future where less and less people have to work. Because if you look at back in the day, everybody farmed. You know, nobody had any creative jobs because you had to farm, you know, until machines came in. And in that moment, machines were bad because it took away a lot of people's jobs. But the human race, we adjust, you know, we evolve and we adjust to change. So the machines took a lot of farmers' jobs, but then that created new jobs. Now maybe we don't have to spend so much time making food. Now maybe I can work as a painter, you know, stuff like this.
Actually,
and as technology advances to the point where like maybe they might take our jobs or other type of jobs, maybe of course, there's going to be some years of hurt, you know, for the adjustment period. But when we do adjust, maybe we might just reach a state where machines just do all the jobs, and everybody just is a creative, or everybody just choose what they want to do.
Like that's my version of heaven. I'm not gonna lie.
That's being very optimistic. That's what I hope. That's what I genuinely hope.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I think that's good. That's a very good optimism to have. Like to me, throwing that out there, having that view. If more people had that understanding. Imagine what we could do if more people just were trying to be like that and help creatives support each other.
That's what I'm trying to do with this platform, man. For real.
No, I think the more people that get together and have this kind of view, that's how I've always understood. I've always wanted to help people, especially if you're creative. I understand the struggle. Let's fucking go. Let's try to move this shit. Let's change this world for the better.
And I just respect the grind so much because it's hard to make something of yourself. Yeah. No, it's a lot of work and a lot of failure.
A lot. I mean, failure it's not a bad thing.
I love failure.
Yeah, failure you can learn a lot if you choose to learn it. That's the thing is most people don't choose that.
You gotta learn.
Except, I failed. Fuck it.
You can't fail and not learn and keep failing. You know, you're just retarded at that point. So I don't want to get canceled. I didn't mean to say the R word. I meant you're not the brightest tool in the shed. Okay. Because you can't say that word no more.
It's not the 2000 no more.
Yeah.
No, for sure. No, you're right though. Like people, like if you just keep, you're gonna. That's crazy. That's insanity.
The definition of insanity.
Like, really, like
you learn from it. Like, okay, this sucked. It didn't go out, but always keep trying. That aim small, miss small is never gonna steer you wrong. I promise. If you just try to look at your life and try to fix it, learning how to master this. That's how you're going to succeed. I really feel like learning how to get this person in check. So what we're talking about, being in control.
Yeah.
Learning how to have all the stuff so that way when you're in control of you, man, I feel like we are unstoppable. If you are fully in control, you're not unconscious. You're not just being like a subconscious being just wandering around autopilot, which I feel like so many of us are.
Because I think a lot of people just give up because life does beat you up. And I think people just, failure happens. Sometimes it's not even multiple failures. It's just one failure and they just give up, you know? And that's a lot of people just on autopilot, you know? I get it though, but it's like, man, I've had my failure, you know, like with crypto. I've lost like $50,000, you know? Yeah, but I'm still keep going, you know? I don't let that stop me.
No, but it's like, you just having that, it's hard to have that drive. It's like a lack of motivation, man. It can be hard for sure.
Yeah.
But that's why I really feel like just doing stuff like this is, if one person here is great. Is that's how I discovered most of my things, just random clips from YouTube.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It kind of like a rabbit hole after that. And
I know.
I feel like that's how this shit starts. And I feel like more people, if we just keep pushing out there, people just keep getting involved, and hopefully one day there'll be a community here in Seattle.
That's what I'm trying to do here, man. Because imagine if there's a bunch of small businesses or local artists in Seattle, which there are, and we get our page popping, I can bring them on here and just help
100%.
people out, you know, and build a community.
You basically have like a community out here, like outreach of some sort, like for local artists, local whatever, just help create it.
That's what I want to do.
And as long as it's like being reinvested into this, into the state, or at least the city, that's where I'm talking about. That's how you get Seattle back on the map.
I know. That's what I'm trying to do, man. Maybe 5 years from now we'll look back and watch this video. It's like, damn, they really did it. You know, you never know.
Hey man, you never know for sure. Manifest that shit.
I fully believe in that type of stuff. Because here's another thing, and this is also another law of the universe. I forgot what it was called, but it's about your focus, right? For example, let's say you or a friend or a family member buys a new car, and it's a Toyota Camry, right? 2001. Isn't it interesting how once your friend buys that car, you start seeing it more, you know? That's just because now you're thinking about it, and now you're looking for it, you know?
Yeah.
And I could do that for anything. Like I could just tell you, hey, every day, start paying attention to anything that's red. And now every day when you're looking around, you're going to start trying to pick out things that are red. I see the bar right there is red.
Like no red in the room.
Yeah, I see one piece of red right there in my mic. But, you know, that type of stuff. And the same thing applies to, like, success, or if you have a dream. If you're always thinking about your dream or just goal you have, and you're always trying to work on it, as you move through life, you're going to look for opportunities for it, you know, for things that could help you reach that dream. And that's why I always think about my podcast. So, for example, I think about my podcast all the time, and I think about how to always improve it and that type of stuff. Well, one idea I thought about was having Kat on here, right? Yeah. And I always thought about it, and then now we got him on here, like last week, you know? And then right now I'm just keeping eyes out for more opportunities. Like how I told you, a buddy of mine just started a podcast. Well, that sparked an idea. I'm like, I'm going to keep an eye on that. If he keeps continuing and does become a podcaster, I'll have him on here too, you know? So just as I keep going through life, tomorrow, next week, whatever, I'm going to keep an eye out for things that might help me out, you know? And I think that's what people got to do. Because people, I feel like, do that the opposite way when it comes to, like, sad shit or whatever, bad stuff. They, like, feel like life is so shitty. They're going to look for things that prove that their life is shitty. Oh, I'm fat. Oh, I don't have the best clothes. Oh, that's because they're looking for all the bad shit to justify why their life is so shitty. But if you start looking at trying to improve your life, you're going to start looking at things you can improve. You know? It's all about what you see.
Like, choosing what you want to see. Like, what you're choosing to see with that. It is all about choices, the same thing.
Yeah, because bad shit happens to me. Yeah. Like I just told you, I lost $50,000. I could look at that like, fuck, I don't want to do this no more. But I look at that as a lesson. Yeah. And now, next time I reach a point where I have that amount of money, I know how to not lose it and be less risky and stuff, you know? Yeah.
No, it's like, it's 100%. That's the thing that made everything. It's just, it all boils down to a choice. We had that one episode where I was at Blockbuster. Choice. I chose to leave the store, you know? And I think of all the things.
What happened there, for context?
Oh, yeah, it was the one where I was like, I had randomly started having urges to hurt the person in front of me, you know? When,
oh, shit. I forgot about that.
Yeah. That was, and it freaked me out. It was like, I started trying to pay attention to, as I'm older now, intrusive thoughts, regardless if it's positive, negative. It's a thought that appears. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Why is it here? And I remember I used to have these. It was crazy bad, and I just remember like I had to get out of the place. See, the situation is like, if it's that bad, leave the situation. If somehow you can get out of it, if you're able to get the fuck out of any situation. If you feel like something's coming on that's you don't know what to do, you're struggling, like same thing, like if people like, I don't want to fucking do these drugs anymore, just leave your fucking situation. In that case, go to a different state, leave.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been at a point where I didn't have nothing going on.
Yeah, you don't have to stay where you're at,
No.
and you don't have to work at that job, and you don't have to be with these
Like, what
people.
about my dad? Fuck
You
it.
can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Leave. If you're not
Yeah.
happy, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
If you don't like your friends, make new fucking go. Leave your
Yeah.
fucking friends. Go talk to other people.
I try to get my cousin always to leave where she's at right now, just because like it's so easy to get stuck.
But change is also hard.
It is.
So I get it.
It is.
Yeah, it
I
is.
get that too. But
It is. But I hope that everyone watching does not change from not watching. I
I
try to.
also say I want to say for a positive spectrum, like sometimes life, if you have a kid, the kid just fucking leave.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
There are responsibilities.
You gotta be
have to have.
realistic.
Yeah, like I want to just say like, yeah, you don't like your shit, change it. Like obviously things that happen in life you have to try to take care of. There's things that but being more aware of your shit so you can. These moments happen. Like if I end up having a kid, obviously I'm gonna adjust everything in my life. That's now my focus.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want to give my kid the best fucking life, but I also don't want to hurt my own life. So it's like it's like the thing with the an airplane.
Oh, yeah,
you're
yeah.
counterproductive.
Yeah.
If you gotta give yourself, make sure you're okay, then you can help them.
You gotta put the mask on yourself. If your airplane is crashing,
Yeah.
you gotta put the mask on
Yeah.
yourself before you put your mask on your kid.
And that's
You gotta help yourself out.
I tell the ends of the
I
story
know.
at the beginning.
You
Yeah.
gotta give the context. There's a whole story.
Thank you.
Yes, that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that's the same thing. Apply that shit the same thing. Like, you want to, yeah, for sure, help your kid. You want to give the best life, but don't where it affects you, where it ruins who you are. You still have to have this person intact so you can help this person. But people will look at that in a narcissistic view, like, well, I gotta have all this stuff. I gotta make the most money. No.
Yeah.
You just need to be still whole.
Yeah.
In who you are.
You can't
And,
fix other people if you're not whole.
No.
Yeah, you can't fix someone if you're broken
Yeah.
too. But speaking of broken, this is Broken Bear Conversations. Thanks for watching. It's the end of this episode.
So, thank you.
It was a good one. I liked it. I hope you enjoy. Again, I'm Seiko. This is Josh.
Josh.
I know we always shout out your Instagram. I'll just write it. You don't gotta say it every time. Or you can say it. All right, you can say it. Say it. Yeah, Severin Photography.
My grandpa. Shout out, grandpa.
Shout out, Grandpa. Salute. All right, thank you.